Hey folks, I want to come on here today and do a quick solo episode. I promise there are interviews coming. I'm just waiting for one to be accepted and or to be published, which we've already recorded. So super interesting times. I've reached out to a number of guests as well, and there are more to come. This is not ending. This is just the beginning of the podcast. 20 episodes in, big milestone. And saying that, I've also been getting in contact with some companies or businesses that I'd align with for sponsorship. If you know anyone out there that from the first 20 episodes that you think would be a great brand or product or service and you'd love to get them maybe shouted out on the show, please let me know. I'm looking for someone to work with for a medium term, maybe 3 episodes, 10 episodes, maybe even longer term, maybe not one off, but I'm open to conversation. Something that I align with, and yeah, this isn't times of desperation. I'm going to keep doing the podcast, but if you know anyone out there, feel free to let me know. I can add a watermark, hats, t-shirts, books, phone, laptop. But yeah, we're getting to the show, and today we're chatting a bit about money. I'm going to try keep it about 15 minutes. First of all, I'm not a financial advisor. This isn't an economist. This isn't about, which maybe money is slightly different from economics, but in saying that, there is a show out there that inspired me quite a bit, which we'll get into in the podcast, called the David McWilliams podcast, which we'll chat about now. He is which I don't know him personally, I don't think, but maybe known through the grapevine. For those who don't know, based in Dublin, Ireland at the moment, and this podcast may be contextual to the country of Ireland and Dublin. However, you could apply this to other areas in the world. So anyway, we'll talk about it. His recent episode on for those of you who don't know, just real quick, I'm on a bit of a tangent. David McWilliams is an Irish economist and author. He has a great show on Australia, Argentina, and Ireland, which I gave it a listen and thought I'd chat not because of that, for other reasons, but I just happened to listen over the last 7 days or so to that podcast. But into money, one of the main reasons for me chatting about money today over the last 12 years, I left school in 2013 and I've been on a bit of a journey. I've made some mistakes of my own, and nothing too massive mistakes, like nothing absolutely, but no big catastrophe, I don't think. However, I would love to have known a bit more about money. Not saying I didn't know, but yeah, just a few things I picked up along the way that I'll share today. Again, I'm not a financial advisor. Something that comes to mind, especially living in Dublin, is I keep seeing out of home. Well, first, the definition of money, which we need to get into so we all know what we're talking about. Money, the current medium of exchange in the form of coins and banknotes. Coins and banknotes collectively. Formal sums of money, the assets, property, and resources owned by someone or something. Wealth. What is the best definition? This is the This is the Oxford Dictionary on Google, and then Wikipedia. Money is any item or verifiable record that is generally accepted as a payment for goods and services and repayment of debts such as taxes in a particular country or socio-economic context. And if that is the definition of money, something that popped into my mind, and I saw it on a bus the other day, and I've seen it for the last at least 4 years. I think 2020 was when it came out, and it's a campaign by a company called Bank of Ireland. For those of you who don't know, one sec, I think I have it up here. This isn't sponsored by them, however, I am a customer. Bank of Ireland is a group. PLC is a commercial bank operation in Ireland and one of the traditional big 4 Irish banks, historically the premier banking organisation in Ireland. The bank occupies a unique position in Irish banking history. CEO Miles O'Grady November 17, 2022. Founded on the 5th of April 1783. Been around for a while, over 10,000 employees. And there's other banks out there. I also have a Revolut account, which is, I don't know if you're into, we already talked about on here digital entrepreneurship, and there's a thing called M-Pesa in Kenya. In Africa, which is M-Pesa is Africa's most successful mobile money service and the region's largest fintech platform. M-Pesa is the preferred way to make payments across Africa. It's also, I think, one of the enablers of digital entrepreneurship. But Revolut kind of reminds me of it a bit, just the speed of transactions, been able to, this isn't, again, advertisement for it, but been able to split bills and for payments. Again, other banks out there, let's just look at the definition of bank real quick. I don't bore you. This is the last definition, okay? Last one, I promise. Definition of commercial bank. There's also the Bank of Ireland on some of the jerseys as well, rugby-wise, so I thought I'd mention it. Used to play a bit of rugby and got into it over the last 4 years when I was break for my health, so which I want to start the podcast. A commercial bank is a financial institution that accepts deposits, provides loans, and offers other banking services to the general public and business. These banks act as a financial intermediaries. I don't know why I can't pronounce, which I just did, so maybe I'm wrong. It's nearly 5 p.m. in the evening time on Tuesday the 18th, so I'll slow down a bit. Using customer deposits to generate profit by lending money at an interest rate. Their services include checking and savings accounts, credit cards, loans, and payment processing. Key functions of a commercial bank: accepting deposits, providing loans and credit, facilitating payments, credit creation, offering other services, deeper into AI mode, which I could use ChatGPT, so maybe I'll use that next time. Yeah, they're just a few things that I wanted to touch upon with regards to money. Kind of it's where, I won't get into. So we have the definition of money. We have banks, which kind of are the facilitators or intermediaries of money. I suppose you need to get into the history of money, which I think David McGuinness chatted about in episode 4. So I won't get into it too much. Let me just touch upon a small bit. It's only one quick solid podcast. First of all, the concept of money first emerged about 9,000 years BC. Let me just, Bank of England, how has money changed over time? A brief history of money. There's another one saying the history of money can be traced back thousands of years. The barter system likely originated 6,000 years ago. I'm not looking up another definition. Turn to the first coin we know of is from the 7th century BC, and the first paper money came into the world around 1020 AD. All this talk of BC and AD, one sec, has led me on to another thing which I'll come across, which I'll touch on in a sec. The invention of coinage, standardized money. The standardizing of money began back in 600 BC in the kingdom of Lydia, where the first official coin minting commenced. These weren't just shiny metal coins, they were forged from gold and silver reserves and stamped with symbols indicating their weight and value. The creation of money. Anyway, we won't get into too much about the history of money. We're here all day, so what am I like talking about the history of money, which is a great thing, maybe. So one sec, ChatGPT now, history of money. Talking about bartering. For those you don't know, out there, which is completely normal, by the way, to not know something. Bartering is exchange goods or services from other goods or services without using money. So, okay, bartering first, then commodity money like grains, livestock, salt. So bartering money about 300 BC, commodity money 3000 BCE, commodity money 3000 BCE and 700 BCE, metal money and coins 700 BCE, paper money China 700 CE, banknotes and the gold standard 1600s to 20th century, fiat money 20th century to present, Fiat means let it be done. Latin, modern money has value because governments declare it legal, tender, and people trust it. Not backed by gold or commodities. Allows central banks to manage investment rates, flexible money supply, modern economic policy. Digital money, which is super interesting. I bought a book the other day called How Money Works, and it is a visual book. I'll just show it real quick. Again, this isn't a sponsorship. And the simplest, most visual guide to money ever. Go back to the ChatGPT. Digital money, late 20th century to present. Bank balances, online transfers, credit cards, and mobile payments represent digital fiat. Most money today exists only as digital entries in banking systems. This transformed global commerce and increased transaction speed. Cryptocurrencies and decentralized money, 2009, which I'm noticing to present. I'll be unbiased here. I'm noticing it's even said on the book How Money Works. There was a visual representation of cryptocurrencies. But I don't get into that too much. That's for another day. Bitcoin 2009 introduced the first decentralized blockchain-based currency. Features no central authority, fixed supply algorithm, peer-to-peer lending, led to thousands of cryptocurrencies and DeFi systems. Summary, and starts barter, commodity money. Number one, money has evolved to solve problems of trade. Number one, barter, hard to match needs. Two, commodity money, more portable but inconsistent. Coins, standardized, durable. Four, paper money, easier to transport. Five, gold, standard, high stability. Fiat money, flexible, government backed. Digital money. Seven, fast and convenient. Eight, cryptocurrencies, decentralized alternatives. And then you can go into all sort of timeline infographic. But this brought me to the concept of which, look, I don't have like theology isn't. I'm not a which is the study of religion. As far as I'm aware, I don't want to look up another definition. Yeah, which I think it's a study of religion. Theology, which theology. I have time, so we'll just talk about this real quick. Theology. One sec. Theology, the study of God and religious beliefs. It is more intellectual and reflective, like philosophy, but focus on religion. Religion is a human practice of beliefs about the divine or the sacred. So yeah, anyway, we won't talk about religion and money. Two things, but we are today, so would you look at that? But back to what I was getting onto is, first of all, we'll touch upon two topics today. And we're 13 minutes in, so I'll make it about a 20-minute this time. WTF in the context is Bank of Ireland's, and I already touched upon this, but I'll do it again for a second. I think they started this campaign 4 years ago, and I saw it out of home, which is like on buses or on billboards, not on our phone, like on social media or digital. And it's called WTF in the context of Bank of Ireland stands for Want to Talk Finance. And there are other companies and banks out there, so I don't want to seem biased, but just happens to who I work with, the amount we bank with, which is a financial well-being campaign to help people discuss and manage their money. This provides resources, tips, and access to financial advisors to help customers with saving, spending, and financial planning. You can find related videos and resources on their social media pages and personal banking website, as shown in Bank of Ireland Facebook and Bank of Ireland website. Financial Wellbeing Campaign. And this is all to encourage to people to, I suppose, their financial well-being and to talk about a bit more about how to discuss and manage their money with professionals. But I wanted to come on here and chat briefly about it. Anyway, it's top of mind again. I'm not an advisor, so you probably want to seek out someone professional. What I came across is this notion that I suppose that money is evil. And I just looked it up here on an AI overview in Google. The Bible presents a nuanced view on money, stating that money itself is not evil, but the love of money is the root of all evil. It encourages responsible stewardship of resources, generosity, and avoiding the temptation to make wealth a source of ultimate hope. Key themes include using money to provide for needs and share with others, recognizing that all wealth comes from God, and prioritizing faith over possessions. Again, this isn't a podcast about Christianity. There's other ways, but a lot of different, our religion, but we are trying about money. So get into it for a sec. Key principles from the Bible regarding money: stewardship over ownership, the love of money versus money itself, contentment, prioritizing God over money, generosity and giving, wisdom in wealth management, and the pursuit of true treasures. Let's go up stewardship real quick on ChatGPT, because that's Google overview. I'm mad for the definitions these days, but let me slow down a bit. We'll give a chat anyway. Be looking to define every single word, so. Stewardship definitions. Here are general definitions. Stewardship is the responsible management and care and use of something that has been entrusted to you, like money. It emphasizes accountability, responsibility, and long-term care. And then it goes on to religious and theological definition of religion. Stewardship means recognizing that everything, life, creation, resources, talents, ultimately belongs to God, and humans are caretakers. It includes caring for creation, environment, using the gifts and abilities wisely, generosity and giving, ethical responsibility, often summarized as managing God's gifts for God's purposes. Anyway, hopefully I don't get kicked off the platform for chatting about God, but I've been on the Buddy podcast. Number 3, environmental stewardship, managing natural resources in a way that protects ecosystems and ensures sustainability for future generations, includes conservation, reducing pollution, sustainable use of land and water, caring for wildlife and habitats. Financial stewardship, which is, I suppose, is the one thing today, so we're kind of running close on the 20-minute mark, is if you take anything, it's probably this concept of stewardship, which was introduced to me by a friend in TU Dublin, which I won't mention his name in case he doesn't want me to say, but he's from Wexford, so he's over in... I'll say that name, Brendan. He's over in Singapore at the moment, fiance, so I thought I'd mention. For financial stewardship, hope he doesn't get me to take down the whole podcast, but I'm sure he wouldn't do that. Either way, if he does, it's all good. Financial stewardship, responsibility, managing money, budgets, property, and resources, whether personally in a church or an organization. Organizational and leadership stewardship, using power, resources, and influence ethically to serve others, not oneself, includes transparency, accountability, and care for employees or members. Short, simple definition for students. Stewardship is taking care of something that has been given to you, using it wisely, and being responsible for its future. If you want, I can also provide a short paragraph for an assignment. I mean, it's all good. A list. You hear about students maybe using ChatGPT. This is one for the maybe some of the teachers. Anyway, I won't get into it. I haven't heard about students using ChatGPT, by the way. Which, anyway, I won't even get into it. I'm not even in the industry of education, so maybe this podcast touches upon education, but we need to interview a teacher for that to see where. Yeah, if you want, I can also provide a short paragraph for an assignment, list of stewardship, Bible verses, religious examples, secular examples for schoolwork. But anyway, back to the one thing, I suppose, for me, money. I can talk about some of the mistakes and some of the experiences I've had with money. However, I suppose the main thing is this concept of financial stewardship and stewardship. Responsibly managing money, budgets, property, and resources, whether personally a church or an organization, but a short, simple definition for students, or for anyone really. Stewardship is taking care of something that has been given to you, using it wisely, and being responsible for its future. Yeah. I think that's how I wrap it up. I don't want to be too in the grains, in the details. The grains. That's first, in the details. But yeah, anyone looking for further resources, I have some books on money. I know he's based in the United States of America, but I used to read some of David Asprey's work. Total Money Makeover, I think it's called. Which I was just interested in money, so I just read up. It's like I just wanted to learn about it a bit more. Spending Now to Increase The Last Safe Investment by Brian Franklin and Michael Ellsberg. Show it here real quick. What else do we have? I'm trying to come as much as I can get into this 20 minutes. The Latte Factor by David Batch and John David Mann, co-author of the international bestseller The Go Giver. The Money Bible, which is, I know the author, this is about the UK. I want to kind of about the US and the UK, so I'm going to get into it too much. Comprehensive guide. Earning, spending, debt, saving, investing, and subsidiaries. It's about the UK. Goes on to do a little exercise about money. Not a little exercise, an exercise about money, and then a number of different things. And then lastly, which is a really interesting book, is The Psychology of Money. We've talked about the definition of money, but about the history of money. Money of stewardship, the banks, stewardships, money, and the Bible. And talking about the psychology of money, which is a book you can go grab. Just a quick overview, an hour 20 minutes in. Trying to compact as much as I can. Hope when you just try to do as much as you can, you end up doing nothing. So hopefully this podcast doesn't have nothing in it. The Psychology of Money is a popular book by Morgan Housel, which explores how people think about money, wealth, and financial decisions. It is about technical investing strategies. It is less about technical investing strategies and more about behavior, emotional, and psychological aspects of money. Here's a breakdown. Key themes. Behavior matters more than knowledge. Luck versus risk. Saving is greater than earning. Saving consistently. Building wealth is more about saving consistently than chasing the highest returns. Compounding. Time is a critical factor. Wealth grows exponentially when you give it more time to compound. Even small advantages matter over decades. Tail events, a few critical moments or decisions can disproportionately affect your financial life. Many people underestimate the impact of rare but powerful events. Number 6, enough. Knowing what enough is prevents unnecessary risk and stress. Excessive greed often leads to financial mistakes or unhappiness. 7, emotions and money. Fear, envy, and overconfidence are more dangerous than market fluctuations. Managing emotions is critical for financial health. Wealth versus richness. Being rich can mean having high income or flashy spending. Being wealthy is about freedom, options, and security, often invisible to others. Key takeaways. Money is emotional as much as it is mathematical. Long-term thinking and patience beat short-term excitement. Your personal history, temperament, and psychology influence your financial decisions more than formulas. Small, consistent, smart decisions compound into significant wealth over time. That's a bit of a summary. My big takeaway personally is number 3 and number 7. We already talked about stewardship. The one thing today was, which this kind of ties into it, is saving over earning. Saving consistently, more about chasing high return. Building wealth is more about saving consistently. This again, I'm not a financial advisor, so don't take my advice in this. Chat to someone first, please. Building wealth is more about saving consistently than chasing the highest income or returns. Again, this is from the number 1 economy in the world. I think Morgan's from the United States of America. I just double check Morgan is from there. This is slightly over 20 minutes, so I'm just getting excited about this topic because it's something that's not really chatted about as much maybe as it needs to be chatted about at times. Not all the time, sometimes. I think he's from America. American Business. A 2-time winner of the Best Business Award from the Society of American Business Editors and Writers. He received the New York Times Sydney Award. SIDNEY Award. University of Southern California, Red School, studied economics and finance. Born in 1988. New York Times bestseller. Psychology of Money, The Art of Spending Money, and The Same as Ever. So yeah, this is about 20 minutes, 23 minutes. But yeah, I just want to come on and chat. Super important topic for me, and because I think that, as a young man, it'd be good to get my money in line and everything in order with a bit of stewardship, looking after myself. But yeah, I was just at number 7. So number 3, saving versus earning. Savings greater than earning. And number 7, emotions and money. Fear, envy, and overconfidence are more dangerous than market fluctuations. Managing emotions is crucial for financial health. 6, enough. So 3 and 7, 6. And knowing what enough is prevents unnecessary risk and stress. Excessive greed often leads to financial mistakes or unhappiness. But more importantly is the one thing is the concept of stewardship. And I think that's the one thing that encompasses almost everything. And just to reiterate, the definition is... Would love for this to be 15 minutes, but I got super excited. 25 minutes. Not greed, not the love of money, but just chatting about it a little bit. Stewardship, the job of supervising or taking care of something. So yeah, just making sure I'm taking care of my money. I think that's the most important thing. And maybe chatting about it is a good way to take care of it as well. Maybe for others not to maybe to take care of it, but again, I'm not a financial advisor, so this is about myself. So yep. Anyway, folks, if you enjoyed the podcast, feel free to leave a review or a comment. And thanks again for listening to my show a bit about money, this episode about money. Thanks.